Hello guys! First of all, congratulations on your decision to be part of Classical Connections. We are very excited that you will be part of our initiative to bring classical music outside of the concert halls and into the greater Bloomington community. Welcome to this short introductory video on giving pre-concert talks. My name is Mingfei. I am Secretary and Treasurer of Classical Connections. I am in my 4th year at Jacobs, having completed my Master of Music degree and Performance Diploma in piano, and I am now just starting my PhD studies in musicology. Over the past 7 years, I have been giving on average about 10 outreach concerts per year, and I can share with you from my own personal experiences that one of the best ways to connect with your audiences at a community outreach concert is to give introductions before your performances. While performing music is what we have been trained our whole lives, that isn't always the case for speaking about music. It can be quite tricky to try to explain what the pieces are about without using too much jargon while we're talking to a more general audience. Not to mention that it can be stressful to talk in front of a whole audience. So today I will share some insights with you on how to approach these conversations effectively. Obviously, you would want to start with introducing yourself, your name, and your college major. If you have a second major or minors, be sure to include them. People love hearing about what you do. Now, be aware how you articulate your name and your major. I know this sounds obvious, but remember, the very first thing your audience hears from you is your self-introduction. Also bear in mind that a lot of your audience members are senior citizens who may be wearing hearing devices, and it's really difficult sometimes for them to hear certain things unless you really articulate them. Presenting yourself confidently and with a clear speaking voice is going to connect you with your audience right away. Then it's time to talk a little bit about the pieces you are going to perform for them. Now, this does not have to be a long lecture, but giving something your audience can listen for is always a great idea to help them build connections with the music that they're going to hear. Here's some tips for you. Talk about the composer in a sentence or two. Don't feel that this is too basic because we often take what we know for granted. Definitely say where the composer was from if their origin and culture directly influenced the music you're sharing. For example, I am going to play Mazurka in A minor by Frédéric Chopin. Chopin was from Poland, and the mazurka is a Polish folk dance in triple meter, usually with an accent on beat 2 and 3. This will help the audience actively engage with the meter, the accents, and the dance feels of the music. Talk even more about the composer. What happened during the composer's lifetime, historically, personally, or both? What else did this composer write, and how are those other genres related to your piece? For example, Mozart was writing comic operas for the National Court Theater in Vienna, and you can hear a lot of theatricalities and/or comic elements in his violin sonata. Different characters singing, scene changes, etc. Share what your audience can specifically listen for. What are some key characteristics of this piece? What are some things you've discovered and/or read that have later influenced your interpretations? For example, Prokofiev's music is known for the motoric and rhythmic elements, among other things. Yes, we use the term motoricism, but that may not resonate with a more general audience easily, so find an alternative way of saying it. Demonstrate. Whether it is a particular rhythm that is present throughout the piece or a theme that recurs, like the first theme of a sonata allegro movement, for example, or virtually anything that you personally find exciting and worth sharing. You may even talk about a passage or a musical idea that you've struggled with for a really long time. Play out for them and tell them why it's so challenging. Once you demonstrate, your audience will hear those things so much better when you're actually performing the piece from beginning to end. Lastly, be clear and genuine. Yes, you will need to do some homework to make sure you're giving the right information, but you don't have to try to sound smart at all. Just be generous and sincere. I hope these tips are helpful. These are just very general suggestions, so please don't be afraid to try out your own way and to bring your own personality into these conversations. After all, it is all about building the connections between you and your audience and engaging your audience with the music that you are sharing. So eventually you will find what works best for you, and I guarantee you will absolutely love these concert talks. Good luck and have fun!